light is very superficial. It has not the tension of the opposites. The force is not there. Have you ever heard any story about gay people which can be compared to the stories of Romeo and Juliet, Majnu and Laila, Sirin and Faryad? Not a single love story about millions of gay people who have lived on the earth. There was not that attraction to create a story. There was no conflict. In fact, a man loving another man is simply loving his own mirror image. So you can go on loving your mirror image, there is no trouble. Lesbians have no trouble with each other. But these are mirror images. If you want excitement, you have to pay for it. If you want a tremendous experience of ecstasy and love, then you have to fight for it. It all comes in single package. That's why I am continuously contradicting myself. It is absolutely in tune with existence. I call my religion religionless religion. I call it religionless because it has nothing to do with all the religions that have existed up to now. To deny any connection with all those religions, I call it religionless. But still I call it religion because I also want to deny the atheists, the anti-religious. They both were part of the old game. The theist and the atheist, they were the polarity in the past. If I simply call this a religionless phenomenon, it becomes atheism. And it is not atheism. I want to insist that I am not a theist nor an atheist. In fact, both are idiots. They are discussing about something which does not exist. One is saying God is, another is saying God is not. But both are concerned about God and they are wasting their whole lives arguing about God. So I am giving a new turn to religiousness. It is no more concerned with God, no more concerned with heaven and hell, no more concerned with all kinds of theologies or anti-theologies. It is a scientific search into your consciousness. But because it is a search into consciousness, I call it religion. I cannot call it simply science, because science is arrowed towards the objective reality. Religion is arrowed towards the subjective reality. A scientist goes on working with all kinds of things except himself. In his lab, he has done all kinds of experiments, but he has completely forgotten himself. He is the only one in his lab who has not been even touched by any experiment. Religion is experimenting on your own consciousness. So I use a little different word just to make the distinction. Science experiments, religion experiences. Science is objective, religion is subjective. Science is concerned with all that you can see, and religion is concerned with the one who sees. To make this distinction clear, I have to use a contradiction. There is no other way. Otherwise, I will be falling into something wrong, which is not my approach.
Okay. My book is basically about your communes in Germany, and I have some questions on that. In Germany, there are more sannyasins and more communes than in any other country. The critics say the reason is that the German soul is drawn towards the irrational and longs for a leader. According to you, why is your religion and why are you so attractive for Germans?
The reason is simple. What the critics say is absolutely wrong. The reason is that Adolf Hitler has cheated Germany, deceived its youth as nobody else has ever done to any country. They are so much frustrated with political leadership, messiahs. Adolf Hitler was pretending to be a messiah. He thought that he is a reincarnation of Old Testament prophet Elijah. And after the Second World War, Germany has seen something which no other country knows about. Millions of people were killed, and the people of Germany itself were not aware what is happening. They were not aware that 1 million Jews are being gassed. And what they see, the smoke from the chimneys of concentration camps are thousands of people's life becoming a smoke. Adolf Hitler cheated them by saying that you are the people who are meant to rule over the world. Of course, the people cannot say that they were not responsible in supporting Adolf Hitler. They were responsible as much as Adolf Hitler. It was a mutual thing. Adolf Hitler was giving them a great ego project to conquer the whole world. And they were overjoyed that they have got a prophetic leader, charismatic leader. And for 5 years continuously he was winning, which made Germany feel that now there is no doubt at all. The man goes on being victorious. So more and more support to Adolf Hitler. But finally, all ambitious projects fail. Existence cannot support any idiotic thing. Sooner or later, 5 years does not mean anything in existence, not even 5 seconds. So just a little dream that Germany saw and the glory, and then the tremendous fall. Almost as if Hitler had taken Germany to the Everest, and from the Everest the fall. It has created 2 things in Germany. That's why it becomes my country. One, now no Adolf Hitler can deceive them. Enough is enough. No prophet, no Messiah can deceive them. They have suffered too much. They know perfectly well that nobody is special. Neither German, nor Italian, nor English, nobody is special. The suffering that they have gone through and the suffering they created for the whole world at least proves one thing, that nobody is meant to rule over the world. And purity of blood is simply nonsense. You cannot tell whether a certain blood is German, English, Chinese, Hindu, Mohammedan. Impossible. There are blood types, but they are not German, Italian, English. Blood is simply blood. There is no pure blood or impure blood. So on the one hand, a tremendous frustration with Adolf Hitler and what he did to the country, and on the second hand, a guilt that they were also part of this stupid game. Now they want to get rid of all messiahs, and they want to get rid of the guilt too that they are carrying within themselves. They have no other alternative than me, because every religion will create guilt. They cannot be freed from guilt. All religions are based on guilt. I am the only person who frees you from all guilt. There is no thing as sin. There are mistakes. And to err is human. And in fact, that is the only way to learn. There is no other way to learn. So I say to my people, commit as many mistakes as possible. Just don't commit the same mistake again. That is stupid, not sin. Committing the same mistake again simply means you are not watching what you are doing. You are not being intelligent. And because of your mistakes, you are not going to suffer in hell. You will suffer into your mistakes themselves. If you don't commit a mistake, the reward is there. There is no need for a God and a paradise where all those people who did not commit mistakes will be rewarded. There is no need. Each act brings its punishment or its reward. And there is no need to feel guilt because there is no idea of sin in my approach to life. Sin is the opposite polarity of guilt. If you have any idea of sin, then the idea of guilt is bound to be there. No religion of the world can free the German youth from a tremendous burden of guilt. In fact, they will exploit it. And no religion of the world can make the German youth independent, free from all these saviors, prophets, messiahs, because they are dependent on these people themselves. It is a strange thing that I am the only person who can free you from messiahs and who can free you from guilt. Naturally, Germany needs me and I need Germany. Soon you will see whole Germany will be my commune. Adolf Hitler has made the ground for me. That's why I have a certain love for that man. Without him, my work in Germany would have been impossible. It is difficult in America because there has been no Adolf Hitler. Just a poor Nixon.
A few weeks ago, a young woman who was very much interested in sannyas and very much afraid that she might become a sannyasin said to me, "But I hate that personal cult around Bhagwan." I tried to explain her that there is no personal cult, but I wasn't very successful. Can you help me?
Just tell her that if she hates enough, she is already in love with me. She cannot escape. She can delay, but hate is already a relationship. And who wants to remain in a relationship of hate? Because it is not bothering me, it is bothering her. I don't know about her, but her hatred will torture her. She will have to change it into love, only then she will be free of that torture. One thing. Second thing, Bhagwan does not mean God, our personal God. In fact, the problem has arisen because in India there are 3 religions. And 3 religions have 3 different languages. Hinduism has Sanskrit as its language. Buddhism has Pali as its language. Jainism has Prakrit as its language. Hinduism believes in a personal God. So when in Hindu scriptures the word Bhagwan is used, it means a personal God. Buddhism and Jainism don't believe in any God. They are godless religions. So when in Buddhist and Jainist scriptures Bhagwan is used, it simply means the Blessed One. That is actually the meaning of the word. The Blessed One. It has nothing to do with God. I am reminded of H.G. Wells and his famous statement about Gautam Buddha. He does not believe in a God, but he is known to his disciples as Bhagwan Gautam Buddha. H.G. Wells was very much puzzled when he was writing a world history. So he inquired, what is the matter? Gautam Buddha denies God and his followers are calling him God. And he never denied his followers that he should not be called God. Then he came to know that in Pali, Bhagwan means the Blessed One. It has nothing to do with God. For God in English there is only one word. In India there are many. The Buddhists, to deny God, they don't believe in God, but to deny you have to use a word. The word that is used is Ishvara. The Jainas also deny God, so naturally you have to use a word. They use the word Paramatma. Bhagwan is not used by both of the religions for God. It is used for the enlightened person. And it simply means one who has come to a fulfillment so deep that there is nothing missing anymore. So tell that woman that I myself don't believe in any God, personal or impersonal. And I am not a God. And she need not be worried about that. But I insist that I am certainly the Blessed One. That I cannot deny, because that will be a lie. And my whole function is to make you also the Blessed One. If I myself are not in that space, how I can lead you into that space? Ask that woman, do you want to be the Blessed One? Then there is no other way than falling in love with someone who is already the Blessed One. Or if you want to be a miserable one, you can go to Vatican, the Pope is there, and be miserable as much as you want. So make it clear that it has something to do with self-realization. It has nothing to do with God at all.
Okay. Many aspects of your commune and your vision are very similar, in my view, to Karl Marx's vision of the classless society. As there is no personal property, no money, everybody gets what he needs, everybody works out of joy and creativity and feels responsible for the whole, no politicians, no nations, etc., etc. Nevertheless, your commune feels totally different from any Marxist vision, and Marxists of today seem to be more afraid of you than any other people. Can you say a few words to that?
It is true. The Marxists have to be more afraid than anybody else, because the others are really fading out on their own account. The real conflict and the decisive conflict is going to be between my red color and the communist red flag. There is nobody else in the field, and their fear is natural, because they cannot condemn me on all these points. So everything that Karl Marx wanted, a classless society, a nationless world, and everybody according to his needs. I am in perfect agreement. What I am not in agreement is that Karl Marx thought that consciousness is only a byproduct of material things, chemistry, physics. About that, he is absolutely wrong. He had no right even to say that, because he has never meditated. He had never sat in silence even for 1 hour in his whole life to look in what he is talking about. And on what grounds? Because he pretends to be a scientific thinker. He calls his philosophy scientific communism. Now that pretension won't stand. If he is scientific, on what grounds he says that consciousness is a byproduct? He has to prove in a scientific lab, mixing all the chemicals and things that a man is made of. And if consciousness arises, he has proved his point. But he never entered any scientific lab in his whole life. He was sitting in the British Museum reading books on economics, politics, but he never knew anything about the Eastern ways of finding oneself. All that he knew about religion was Christian religion and Jewish religion. He was a Jew. Jews have contributed such great people to the world. Jesus, Karl Marx, Sigmund Freud, and they all have given as much insanity to the world as possible. These three people, this is the real trinity of the whole insanity of humanity. And the whole credit goes to the Jews. So all three were Jews. Karl Marx knew only about Judaism and Christianity, and both are third-rate religions. There is nothing, they don't have any philosophic ground. Their arguments are childish. Compared to the Eastern religions, Buddhism, Taoism, Jainism, they are simply in the kindergarten school. To condemn them is very easy. It does not need a great mind to condemn Judaism or Christianity. It is so simple a job. But to condemn Gautam Buddha is not a simple job. You will have to face the basic thing, meditation, because on meditation his whole structure is based. And meditation is not a belief. You have to experience it. So that is the trouble for the Marxists. In India, they were constantly coming in contact with me. They have written books against me. Because I seem to be more dangerous to them than anybody. Because nobody in the whole world, no religion is capable of giving a counter argument. They cannot prove the existence of God. They cannot prove that Jesus was born of a virgin girl. They cannot prove that Moses really saw God or simply got mad in the hot desert roaming for 40 years. Anybody can go mad. It is nothing special to Moses. 40 years wandering, hungry, thirsty, people dying, and he was responsible for all this because he has promised the people to take them to the Holy Land, and there was no sign. People were dying. 40 years is a long time. The original people who had started the pilgrimage had all gone. By the time he declared that we have arrived to the Holy Land, I can say with certainty it was not the Holy Land that he has arrived, it was simply despair that now people cannot be deceived anymore. So this is the Holy Land. Israel is not worth anything. If he had stopped a little earlier, Jews would have all the oil of the world. Every Jew knows that he cannot forgive this fellow Moses. They passed all the oil fields and reached in a place where is nothing, and that was Holy Land. And Moses was God's representative. And what kind of God who didn't say, Moses, stop, this is the place. I don't think he saw God in a desert heat. 40 years can drive anybody mad with so much responsibility. And everybody was torturing him. Where is the Holy Land? People were dying. He was not able to arrange for their food, for water. This man is in the foundation of Judaism. He had no time to meditate. He had no time to create a scientific methodology about meditation. He has never heard the word meditation. All that he knew was prayer. Prayer presupposes God. Communists are not worried with Jews. All their religious doctrines can be very easily finished. There is nothing in it. And Jesus is just an offshoot of Judaism. He does not bring anything new to the world. He is simply repeating Jewish ideology. And even Jews got fed up with this man. He has nothing to offer. All that he says repeats scriptures. So any rabbi can do in a better way. He was uneducated, illiterate. Any rabbi would have been far more philosophical, intellectual. And this carpenter's son is declaring himself the only begotten son of the Jewish God. Remember, it is the Jewish God. He has nothing to do with Hindu God. He has never heard about Hindu God. He has nothing to do with any other God. His God is the Jewish God. Now Jews are angry. Naturally, God giving birth to his only begotten son into a poor carpenter's house. He was born in a stable. God could not manage a better place for the fellow. Whole of his life, he was riding on a donkey. God could not even manage a Rolls Royce for him. And the things that he was saying were nothing but old scripture. And he had to repeat that scripture because he wanted to prove that he is the promised Messiah of the Jews, that he has come to save the Jews. Jews could not accept. This was simply insulting. This man is their Messiah. And all his following consisted of 12 fools. Those fools are called apostles. When he was crucified, they all had escaped. Only one remained there, and that one also denied that he knows Jesus, because people looked at him and found that he seems to be a stranger here. He does not belong to Jerusalem. They insistently asked, "Who are you?" He said, "I am a stranger. I have come to Jerusalem for a pilgrimage, and I have nothing to do with this man. I don't know even anything about this man you are crucifying." 11 escaped, one denied. These were the followers. So it was very easy for Karl Marx to criticize Christianity and Judaism. But facing me, Karl Marx will be in difficulty, because I have the whole heritage of thousands of years of inner experimentation in the East. He will not be able to argue that consciousness is a byproduct. He will have to prove it, because he says he is a scientific thinker. Then why, on what grounds you are accepting this is a belief? Calling consciousness a byproduct of matter. In fact, modern physics has proved just the otherwise. Matter does not exist anymore. Karl Marx is simply out of date, absolutely out of date, because he was thinking only matter exists and consciousness is a byproduct. Now physics has come to the conclusion that matter does not exist. Then what exists? Except consciousness, there is no other alternative left. Something certainly exists. So I was arguing with communists and they were in difficulty. I was proving that Marx is unscientific. He is simply an atheist believer. And the man who is not even scientific about the most important thing, consciousness, how can you rely on this man about other matters? In fact, in all other matters, he has proved wrong. he had never thought that revolution will happen in Russia. If somebody had suggested that revolution will happen in Russia, he would have simply laughed. That revolution will happen in China, he would have not conceived. Revolution was going to happen in a capitalist country like America, where it has not happened and there are no signs at all that it is going to happen. Communist Party in America is the weakest party in the whole world. In any other country, Communist Party is far more stronger. In America, what Communist Party? What revolution? Here it should happen, because here the rich are super rich and the poor are super poor. The distinction is vast than anywhere else. Mars predictions have not proved right. In a poor country like Russia and China, revolutions happened. And whatever he was thinking about the revolution and its after effects, nothing of them has proved right. He was thinking, once the revolution has happened, the country will not have any classes. It will take maybe 5 years, 10 years, but 70 years have passed, and in Russia, the classes still exist. Their names have changed. The poor is still poor, in fact more poor than in America. And the communists who are in power are more powerful than any rich man has ever been in power. So there is a new class division, the powerful and the powerless. In America, there is a possibility, I say only a possibility, because at least one is free to express. In Russia, there is no possibility for revolution. Marx cannot be born in Russia. There is no way for anybody to say anything different from the government policy. Classes are there, and there is no sign of their disappearing. They are becoming more consolidated. Marx thought that those who will be in power soon will decentralize power, but they go on centralizing power. When Stalin died, and perhaps no man had that much power for that long time, for almost 40 years, he was omnipotent. At least in Russia, he was God, had all the qualities. His detectives made him omniscient. He was looking at everyone, watching at everyone. People could not even talk to their spouses because one never knew that the woman may be a detective or the husband may be a detective. People could not talk to their kids because those kids belonged to the Children's Communist Party. And to prove themselves as loyal to the country and to communism, they were speaking to their leaders everything that was happening in the family, what the father said, what the mother said. Wives had their own communist party, husbands have their own communist party. Everybody, for the first time in history, was completely surrounded. For the first time, walls were hearing you. Such slavery, and Marx wanted that great freedom will happen. Marx was thinking that once rich people are no more there, immense riches will suddenly fall from the sky. That has not happened. The Russian people are very poor people. So communists are worried with me because I said they have only distributed poverty. And that is not my way. I also want a classless society, but not enforced by a dictatorship. A classless society because people have so much money that nobody wants to hoard it. For example, in a desert, if you have an oasis, you hoard it. You keep people on guard that nobody takes the water. The water is scarce. But when water is enough available, there is no question of hoarding it. You don't hoard water for tomorrow, because tomorrow the tap will be available. Money can be created. And to me, just as there are people who are born poets, born painters, born scientists, there are people who are born wealth creators. Everybody is not Henry Ford and cannot be. Everybody cannot be a Rockefeller. And if you destroy Henry Ford, Rockefeller, Morgan, and other people who continuously create wealth, the poor people will not become rich. They will be poorer than before, because the creators of wealth are gone. I would like money to be respected in the same way as any other art is respected. Wealth should not be condemned. In fact, we should encourage people to become wealthier. I would like a classless society which is totally rich. Marx's classless society is totally poor. I want it on the highest peak to be equal, and he wants people crawling on the earth to be equal. My commune is working in that way. Secondly, I respect the individual. Marx has no respect for the individual. Marx is utterly a socialist. Society is important. All individuals can be sacrificed for the society. To me, that is not the case. On the contrary, every individual is so unique and valuable that he cannot be sacrificed for nation, for society, for ideology. No. So my commune will be rich. It will have all affluence, abundance, but still individuals will be free. They will not be forced to be of equal size. Somebody prefers a Ferrari and somebody prefers a Mercedes. I don't think that everybody should have a Ferrari, whether he likes it or not. Individuals should be free, not only about expressing their words, because all these things make your individuality. Your car is also part of you, your expression. Your dress is also part of you, your expression. Everything should be allowed to individuals, but things should be in such abundance. For example, in this small commune, where only 1,500 people are permanent residents, we have hundreds of cars, hundreds of buses, 5 aeroplanes. The whole commune is centrally air conditioned. Everybody, whatsoever is his need, the commune tries to provide it.